I swear to God, Senke is on a flip phone right now.
Yeah, I know why it's so big.
Is that a good city-issued laptop you're working with, Sinka?
No, this is it's a good old
Linux.
Yeah.
The thumb should help. That usually works.
A wet thumb. Straight out of the pie.
All right, let's
If this gonna be that kind of party, I'm gonna stick my dick in the mashed potato.
And we're cracking. Welcome to the AGS podcast, week 4 recap. I'm Rebel Scum, the No Time champion, joined on here with my brother from a different mother, No Time champ, Rudy's replacements. What's cracking, Rudy?
I got my ass whooped. What's cracking? What's going on?
Nothing. Sorry about that. Not sorry about that. We got a special guest with us tonight, the 2021 AGS champ, Sugandi's youngest champ on record, youngest champ in league history. Is that correct?
Youngest champ in league history, and I'll probably stay the youngest champ. I don't know anybody younger.
Yeah, that's how age works.
Sugandi's back for his second appearance on the pod. He has something to get off his chest tonight.
I can't wait. I mean, when you get a last minute request to jump on, it's going to be some spicy shit. We also got the 2022 champ, Ambassadors of Quan. What's up, Quan?
Love, respect, community, and the dollars too. Quan, baby.
Yeah, love it, dog. Love it. The 4-time champ, commissioner of the league, Siebert Frog.
Was trash.
Thanks for having me. Always fun to be here. I just want to say a little something to the league in my intro here, and it's that, despite the circumstances, the Frogs will always fight. We will never give up. We can wake up in the morning and look ourselves in the mirror and not see a bitch.
Oh, I love that. That's respect right there. Respect to that.
Quan, look at Quan's lips. He thinks everything's directed towards him. That had nothing to do with you, Quan.
No, I saw the shots fired. The shots were fired, but it didn't hit nobody on this podcast.
Not me. I'm your opponent this week, so I hope that's not a
ruffled lip.
I know that's not directed towards me. There's no.
So why did your lip furl?
I just said because I'm your opponent this week. There's no lip
week.
I know. I wasn't talking about you, Quan. Calm down.
Damn. Hey, you're a narcissist, bro.
This week, and you're
gaslighting me.
Your statement is that I'll never look in the mirror and see a bitch. Okay.
Right, like the teams that have already started fire selling, Quan. Relax. The world does not revolve around you.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm in a formidable opponent.
The Quan is so sensitive over there with his one. When you get multiple chips, you can relax a little bit, Quan. The butthole's still puckered from when the Frogs took the lead tonight.
No, he's mad because you put a little shine on Sugandiz's championship.
Yeah, but we prevail.
Hey, Quan, when we listen back to these pods, it's hard to hear us because you always jump in and cut us off mid-sentence. So if you can let us finish our sentences.
That's half you motherfuckers talking shit about me. I gotta come in to defend myself. 90% of the shit talking is towards me on this pod. If I
everything's about the Quan. Everything
towards me. Of course, I jump in to defend myself. Of course. All right. Touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, bitch. Touchdown. Never doubt the heart of a champion. Sit there, drink your loser cup, and enjoy it.
A one-time champion. Same amount of championships as Voodoo.
I have to remember to introduce the commish last because it's always going to come to this shit. And just real quick, the defending champ, 2023 champ, New Jack City. Thanks for being back again.
Hey, man, I'm just enjoying watching this unfold in front of my eyes, because tonight was a little boring. I love you, OG, but good. You closed the gap a little bit because it was about to be embarrassing. I love you, but it's what happens when you come up against a real champion. Get back to the jokes, man.
Well, yeah. I think actually I do want to address something Quan brought up right now, which he is right. 90% of the jokes are directed at him. I don't want to get into it yet because the commish did some outstanding work this week, and I want to give him his shine and his time. But Quan, there's a reason why. There's a reason why, and we can get into that in a few minutes, why you're the most hated person in AGS currently.
And it's not just that
Seaver
lip.
Frogs. It's not just the lip. That's a casualty of the war. Seaver Frog, take us away on this magical journey of research and history into the Henry Report and a recap of the Civil War III, son versus father.
Well, sorry for our listeners. This is going to be a little bit lengthy. I took some time to put this report together. This is 7 years worth of data. So sit back, feel free to chime in once I'm done. Quan, I hate to disappoint you, but this is not about you. This is about the infamous Derrick Henry trade between T. Ruth and West Coast Voodoo. So way back on September 13th of 2017, over 7 years ago, Voodoo traded the then 2015 Heisman Trophy Award winner who beat Christian McCaffrey and Deshaun Watson to win his award, Derrick King Henry, traded him to T. Ruth for a whopping 5th round pick. Voodoo traded Henry after the second game of his sophomore season in the NFL. While Derrick Henry was splitting reps with DeMarco Murray at the time, he was fresh off of his best performance of his career so far. 14 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown, showing in all likelihood the first glimpse of greatness that was to come in future seasons. Instead of embracing that bright future, like some of us on this pod may do, Voodoo used this as an opportunity to dump him to T. Ruth for a 5th round pick, which Voodoo used in the following year, the 2018 draft, to draft the Baltimore Ravens defense and special teams unit. Since the trade, Voodoo has an overall sub 500 record of 45-56. With one successful season in 2019, aka the Accidental Championship. T. Ruth has an overall record of 64 wins, 44 losses, and a tie, also winning a championship in the very next year after acquiring Derrick Henry. Voodoo finished that 2017 season after the trade in 11th place. T. Ruth finished in 3rd place. Since the trade, Voodoo has averaged an 8th place finish annually, earning a top 3 payout one time. T. Ruth has averaged a 4th place finish annually, earning a top 3 payout 4 times. Since the trade, Henry has scored 1,739.5 fantasy points. Does not include what just happened this week, which I'll get to at the end. Henry has never finished lower than the number 15 overall running back in AGS. In 2017, he was a number 10 back, 18, number 10, 19, number 3, 2020, number 2, 2021, number 15, 2022, number 4, 2023, number 7. And so far this year, not accounting for the 40 burger he just put up, he's going into this week, he was the number 3 running back in AGS. Once again, I want to remind you that Voodoo turned that 5th round pick he received in exchange for Henry into one season of the Baltimore Ravens DST, which that season, if he even kept him the whole year, totaled 203 points. That is a difference of about 1,539 points and counting between what Voodoo got in exchange for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2020. He's a first-team All-Pro in 2020, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL rushing yards leader, 2-time NFL rushing touchdown leader. He owns 10 Tennessee Titans rushing records. And Vu, you'll like this one. Not that you listen to the podcast anymore, but Henry has earned over $65 million since the trade. That'll buy you a lot of Rolexes. To give you a quick recap up to this week, it's perfect full circle moment here that I talk about the Henry Report, and T. Ruth played Voodoo. T. Ruth, as expected, based on my findings here, won 141.5 to 95.5. Derrick Henry scored 37.5 points, total 209 yards, including an 87-yard touchdown on his first touch of the game, outscoring both of Voodoo's running backs combined. So there you have it, gentlemen, and anyone else listening, the 2024 Henry Report.
All I gotta say is when I come to you Negroes for a running back, I'm giving you a fucking 5th round pick.
Hey, bravo with that research.
Very good job. Very good job, Coop.
Who wouldn't love to have a running back like that on their team? Jesus.
No, but to be honest with you, that was a very thorough deep dive and audit of that information. That not only says that it was probably one of the worst trades in AJS history, and it highlights the fact that we call him the accidental champion. So good job, counselor.
Well, given the fact that Voodoo's now 0-4, I felt I had to take a deep dive, like teams have been taking deep dives into the backside of Voodoo all season. While I was preparing the report, it dawned on me that a similar report could be made for my trade of Justin Jefferson, except for the fact that I traded him on draft night before he played a single minute. Voodoo had 1 year and 2 games to work with. And I get it. He didn't love what he saw, but I'm pretty sure this was one thing I wasn't able to find in my report. I'm pretty sure that he was on a rookie contract too. So like he shared carries, but he's a beast, man. I mean, what is he? 6'3", 6'4", 200 plus pounds. And I think they said this week during that 87-yard touchdown run that he ran the second fastest time running with the ball to Tyreek Hill with that body size. Like how do you give up on somebody like that 2 games into his sophomore season?
How do you tackle something like that?
Second year of a 4-year contract.
Wow. Damn.
I don't think you can trade a 4-year contract alone for 5th.
I think we should start calling that sunlusion.
Yeah, was that the genesis of collusion? I feel like that's the kind of shit where it started. I don't know. That's another deep dive into league history.
That's a good point. I'm sure it played into it. If it wasn't the genesis, it definitely added to it.
Well, that loss puts Voodoo in the dreaded 0-4 drain. I'm a hopeful person, having been in that spot before. But 0-4 that's a tough one. How much, having never won a championship, let me ask the couple one-time champs on here, how much goodwill and good faith and confidence in yourself and just in the brotherhood of the League of Champions, whatever you call it, how much does that buy you after you win your first title before you start feeling like, desperate? Maybe, just how much goodwill does that shit buy you? Because Voodoo hasn't been good since 2019, and I felt it in my heart, but I wasn't sure statistically, and we just got the rundown now. So, Quan, you guys are both, and Sugandis, you guys are both fresh off one this decade. How many more years do you think, like, you feel kind of pressure to not hurry up and get another one? Do you always feel that? Tell me. Come on, you guys are looking at me. Let's go.
Go ahead, CK, because apparently I talk too much.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, sensitive Quan.
No, I felt it right when I won the first one, because Lennon has 2, BC. Or sorry, Lennon has 4, BC has 2.
They're right here in front of you, CK.
BC had none when you won.
Could add 2 to that.
Believe he had none when you won, Sugan.
BC had 0?
I think he had Cetro when you won.
BC was the 2020 champ. BC was the 2020 champ.
Lou likes to count other people's chips.
He does.
But it's always like when I noticed when I won mine, I was still focused on the shit that I did wrong. So as far as like a grace period, like I don't really give myself a grace period. I'm always trying to, win that extra one. So yeah, I don't think anybody should really feel like they're chilling after they win one, especially with all the shit talking that goes on in this league. So yeah.
I definitely think the value of one diminishes podcast by podcast.
Wow.
I will say immediately after I won the championship, I was ready to start building for it. It motivated me to build for the second. So it didn't. I mean, it was good to get that monkey off your back to finally just win one. And there was, I know everyone has pressure to win, but I feel like there was serious pressure for me to win a championship, being that I was the last of my rivals to win. I had to hear it all for multiple, at least I think it was 1 year in between when they had one and I finally got mine. And it was a grueling year that year. So it did feel good to get the money, but I wanted to go back, be the first to go back to back. Almost did it, but didn't do it. But no, dude, it's
the first to go back to that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You know what? It's just so long ago.
Those two right there.
Wow.
It's hard
to our point.
And I mean, man,
You should. I thought you're like a a huge fan of the game, Lou. You should know your history, man. You knew your history better when you were pledging.
You know, I think you're right. I need to start looking far back to understand.
Oh my God.
Of the league.
Well, since you want to take it there, Quan, last week's podcast you mentioned the existence of a Quan dynasty, the Lemon dynasty, I think it has turned into on the chat. But please explain to us. I don't think has anyone. I mean, we're all sports fans here, right? Would you refer to any professional sports team that's won one championship as a dynasty?
No.
Would you consider? You have a team that's been to 3 championships.
Talk about your team, Quan. Let's go.
3 championships in the last 4 years. Prior to that, I've had 4 bye weeks in a row?
Not 3 championships in the last.
I'm sorry, been to
3 second places.
Do they refer to the Buffalo Bills as a dynasty?
They do, actually. Some do. Some do.
Do you guys here? I mean, they got a 30 for 30. We'll do a good 30 for 30 for you, Lou. On the dynasty that could have been.
No. It'd be called the tale of the second place champ.
You know, what I see in when you have a championship run is pretty much you only have so long with the current team before you have to get to that rebuilding mode that Lennon is in right now.
So during that run, you should win more than one championship. Right?
You know, the team only lasts for so long. You know, you guys start getting old, but so the goal is to try to win as many as possible while you have the championship team. So, yeah,
that's the definition of a dynasty.
I put the dynasty behind me. I'm talking about something else now. Okay.
Moving forward, nigga, damn.
The initial question before I was rude.
So you misspoke last week. You are not a dynasty.
The Quan, you know, we're a dynasty. We're a dynasty.
No, I think you're a winesty.
The story
more of a fucking winesty, bro.
The story's not over. We're still in it. We're still winning. We're still on top. And you know the story.
You're chasing a dynasty.
Still in it. Yeah, that would be a
no.
I'll say that. Yes, you're right. I misspoke. I'm chasing a dynasty right now.
If you won again this year, then you could start to string together an argument, because really what you have been is competitive. You've been competitive for a lot of years, but you know, I wouldn't go out here and say like the Dodgers are a dynasty, maybe an NL West dynasty, but if you win one time and you've been good for 15 years, what does it matter, man? You know, win another one, you can string it together. It'll be like a
finish.
I stand correct. We're not a dynasty. We're not.
Like the Patriots, you know, I would say they really did have a 20-year run.
Yes.
You know,
dynasty.
You bring a good point, Nick. When you say that, you know, you're competitive, you know, what does it mean that when you're good for a long time, but you only have one championship? You know, it's like you're good, but you're not good enough. It's kind of like having all daughters, you know what I mean? Like you did something, but you didn't quite get that son. You know what I mean?
Taking it there? Are we taking it there?
I don't co-sign on that argument right there. That in his own world with that. But I will say this leads into what I was talking about earlier, why I think you're currently the most hated person in the league. It's because you have this air about you of superiority. Like, my next real opponents, my next big matchup is coming up. And it's like,
the funny thing is he didn't even say my next. He said the first big matchup in AGS this season. No other game mattered.
I mean, week to week, dude, there's a really strong argument to be made that the 2 losses you just said, and congratulations, great wins both times. You won. That's how it goes. But I feel like both of those losses were more about the coach's poor decisions than your team being so much better than the team that you faced. And, that goes to speak about the projections that were wild. And then it came down to a 1.5 point win. It came down to this week where I understand why Leonard was quiet on Sunday. I'd be fucking quiet too, especially in my own house, like getting shit on like that. But it's wild that you're even dancing and in your mind considering it to be over when there's a whole fucking night and other night game to play, And so it's this, and the way you talk. A couple of years ago, when we went to a Rams game out of your gracious generosity, and that was the year that I won. I half pointed it with T. Ruth, and he made it to the final, and you guys played each other. I remember you telling me, you're like, I'm gonna get there, Nick. I'm gonna be there at the end, and I hope to see you there. And I was like, I hope to see you there too, sir. But I feel like this is, and you're competitive, but fuck, man, it's just you dangle it everywhere, man. It's like you're teabagging all of us right now, and nobody asked for it, man.
I definitely don't want to be teabagged by him or that lip.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Could you imagine? That's in a Saw movie, I think.
If that lip hangs like that, imagine that beige ball sack.
Teabag without that hat.
Hey, Emmett, I just want to let you know it looks like you're taking this shit on an old person's toilet.
Emmett, you look like you're camping right now, man.
All right, hey, but you won. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, brother.
Look, man, I've been part of a fraternity of brothers. Even before I joined the frat, I've been around. I've always had groups of male friends. So this is nothing new. Your assessment of my personality is nothing new. I know who I am, and that's why I love it. That's just the real me, and it won't change.
You embrace the villain. I appreciate it.
Not to cape for Quan. That's the last thing I would want to do. But I think Vu would be getting a lot of the hate, but he's been MIA.
So he's the scapegoat.
Now I pledge.
You see what I did there?
And I know Vu. I do feel like I do take on. I have the jokes and the ridicule that Vu was getting has now like transferred to me. Well, now it's double on me now, which is fine. I can take it, especially since I'm on top. But anyhow, yeah. What is going on with Vu? Can we get an update? Does anyone know where he is? Is he still alive?
The funny thing about Vu is that it'd be one thing if he completely went off the radar, like, F you pay me in the past and T Ruth here and there or most of the time. But he still like is one of the on WhatsApp, you can see who reads the messages. And he's still like one of the first ones to read the message, but then like is forcing himself not to respond.
Yeah, and there has been some warranted responses from him that
Yeah,
those little itty bitty fingers or fat fingers are trembling
he's trying out a new strategy this year. Let's see how it works for him.
I mean, at this point, we need to issue a welfare check. I mean, fuck.
Missing person.
I miss the banter.
You said a missing children's report? He's not that short.
Well, Quan, I think you brought it up. Thank you to all the people from AGS who showed up. We had a great time at Breaking In Siebert Frogs this weekend. We have a new poker table out there that just got set up, so we'll be having a poker night soon, and we'll send out the invite again. I appreciate it, man. I opened the doors. I'm not here to I'm just here to have a good time with my friends from AGS, man. Where, Vu, you don't have to be scared to come over. Like, we'll treat you like a human being. Everyone is always welcome. But Quan, you brought up a good point. Is this foreshadowing a potential Vu exit? I mean, if Vu can't be himself and he can't talk and he's losing and he's trading away picks and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, how long does he continue to put himself through this punishment? Is he built for the long run in AGS, or is this a foreshadowing of potentially bowing out?
That's a good question. I mean, now with this, I don't know. How do you feel when he comes back? Are you going to feel like a little kind of like you may hold back a little bit, because it's in BC.
Hold back? Who's doing that here?
Quan, you hinted at quitting, and we unleashed Hell's Fury on you for like 3 days straight. You just hinted. He
wasn't even that. It didn't even take him that long. It took him 24 hours. He was like, "Hey, sign me back up. I'm back."
Boo is completely checked out. If I don't know if you can come back, and if he does, he's going to run right. I mean, it's going to be relentless. He's going to run right back into his little hole.
Little hole.
I'm gonna try to fight for the Rat Pack brethren one last time and say that I hope that he has balls of steel. I hope that this maybe knocks some competitive sense into him and that he gets with it. So I'm rooting for him. But if he continues this behavior, he's gonna have to maybe send him a little pass to Slurpback Island or something, because we're gonna have to ship him out of here.
BC, you mentioned the Rat Pack, man, and it doesn't feel like a strong unit these days. Are you proud of being a member in 2024?
I mean, I'm loyal to my soil. I try to maintain a sense of altruism, dedication, and loyalty to my brethren. But at the end of the day, I'm capable and built to carry the crew. You know what I'm saying? I can carry that on my back. So
I'm happy you're able to step away and join us at league-wide functions, man. It was good to have you. Thank you for bringing a bottle. It was good jokes. Next time we put up a tent, maybe get out of your seat and give us a hand. I mean, like brothers do for each other. That altruism you just spoke of.
Yeah. When you got four north of 40-year-old men playing with a little tent, and the biggest one.
No, it was we really could have used the fourth hand.
After I saw you jumping, trying to touch the top of that tent, I just wanted to watch. I should have recorded it.
So for those of you that weren't there, so the sun, Lennon's man cave is outside, and the sun was beaming on a portion of us who were sitting watching the game to the point where it was too uncomfortable to even sit over there.
So it added a little glare to the screen.
And so Lennon breaks out his tent, and Jaime gets up and helps him. And it is clear they are struggling with this tent, mind you. Now, most men.
Stop. How drunk is Jaime, and what time of the day is it?
Jaime, I have never seen Jaime sober, so I don't even know how to answer that question. But
he was at least a 6-pack in. I mean, we had all been. I was about 2 mimosas in.
So it's 10:30 in the morning.
But to your point, Quan, right? NJC, he sits here and he spouts about the ability to create a boy, but when you really need a man to step up.
Mind you, I'm the furthest away from this clear, struggle to open this tent. And most guys would like, all right, man, it's like if you see your boys bringing in the groceries or something, you're going to automatically lend a hand. I get up and now 3 of us are struggling with this tent. And NJC is just comfortably sitting in his seat without a thought in his head.
I had a fucking thought. And I was thinking that, like I told you in the fucking chat, somebody needed to make sure the chairs stayed in place.
So you did think about getting up to help? And what?
I'll be honest. I was focused on the game. I'll be honest. I was focused on the fucking football game, and it didn't even cross my mind. Sorry.
You didn't notice these 2 like 6-foot dudes and this one.
I mean, I did, but I was laughing at him.
Guy, and everybody just.
I was laughing at him. I looked over, but still, no.
I knew it was going to be an issue because Sit had helped me earlier in the day with the poker table, and I was shocked for someone who has posted, no less than a half a dozen times of his recent gym workouts, that he was struggling to help me carry this box. And like, I just lifted it. He was like, "Okay, Coop, I see what you're doing there." I was like, man, if he's struggling this hard with the poker table, he might have some issues with the tent.
He's been working.
Yeah, that was really good.
He's been working out for 6 months, but still has no muscle mass. I think are you shooting Ozempic and then taking pictures at the gym? Is that what's going on?
That's awesome. That's really funny.
I mean, I haven't worked out in like 2 years.
So Quad, you're saying it's not slurp face, it's Ozempic face.
Lou, you haven't worked out in 2 years or 2 winter years? All right. Hey, why don't you take Ozempic, Lou? And then maybe we could see what happens, huh? But hey, you know what, guys? I'll take it. You know what? I'll take all the jokes. I'm 3-1, and looking like it's going to be a good competitive season. So all your jokes can bounce off of my stiffy. All right.
Yeah, we'll get to yours in a second. I wanted to just wrap up with the Froggy and the Quan before we transition to our special guest. Froggy, 1-3. Keep hope alive. You had that fighting spirit earlier. How you feeling?
I feel good, man. I was quiet because it's like the what could have been, right? Like I was in a difficult situation this week where my backup quarterback, coming off a 39-point game, he had a Thursday night game, and the guy who I planned on being my starting quarterback hadn't been cleared yet. Right. So like, what do you do? I don't think you bypass the quarterback coming off that performance and especially going against the New York Giants. So to me, it was an automatic plug in Dak. And I mean, it comes back to bite me, but it wasn't a 50-50 coin flip, right? Jordan Love, I did not consider starting him this week at all. I don't remember him getting the green light until, within 24 hours of his game, if not game time decision. So I'm not mad. I mean, it sucks to see 42 points on the bench that could have won me the game, but it doesn't hurt as much as other like benchings have in the past. And my only other, Leggett, who does that, right? Like I was hanging out with Nakia, who I think is going to be on the podcast next week. And I'm like, regardless of Garrett Wilson going up against Patrick Surtain and the experts saying, it's not a good look. He's a prospect to sit this week. You got to have some really big balls to start Xavier Leggett over Garrett Wilson. And I don't know, man. I've been in the league long enough. Maybe I could have tried it, but dude, that was not like a serious option for me. So I'm happy that I made it a fight. Quan was very confident, made a couple proclamations of the beatdown that he was giving the Frogs. And in the end, I'll take a 6.5-point loss with, not a full squad. So we'll see. Maybe we can run it back again in the near future, Quan.
Maybe.
And just like that, moving on to the Sugandis. Sugandis, you played the curse. You came on here, last minute addition to the pod. You're fired up. Break it down for us, man. What's got you? I mean, first of all, you took the L, and I think that's what's got you fired up. Hit us with it.
Yeah, I took the L this week. This one hurt just because Curse, I think, was 2-1. I was 3-0. Good chance to go to 4-0. But yeah, coming into draft day, Joe Owumi, Vu, everybody's always like, don't trade with the Curse. He has 9 fucking picks in the first 2 rounds. His team is always good toward the end, and not even a month into the season, both of these dudes trade good assets to the Curse, just making the rich get richer. Shout out Vu.
One a keeper, right? Yep. Dalton Kincaid, and the other one, Vu had 2 first-round picks, and the first of his first-round picks was Mike Evans.
Yep,
and that's who he traded.
And he put up Mike Evans put up 20, and it was like a 13, 15-point loss this week. So we can ignore the fact that I started Caleb over Gino. But yeah, so just shout out to Vu and Awumi. Thanks, guys.
Yo, tell us about that Caleb Gino decision and what led to that one. Just the matchup against Detroit on the road.
Yeah,
Right
it
on.
was. Yeah, I spent a pretty high pick on Caleb. I kind of want to see some returns. You are having a good run with Jaden Daniels right now. I kind of want some of that rookie magic. He had a good game last week. Fucking Brock Purdy and Jawan Jennings scored 3 touchdowns against the Rams. I thought Caleb Williams and Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and Roma Dunze could do a little something, but yeah, it just wasn't there, So win some, you lose some.
Yeah, Mike Evans is Keenan Allen if Keenan Allen had much better health. I mean, those motherfuckers are going to produce, and both of those were gifted to Curse, and there he is with depth. Lose a star receiver, no big deal.
No big deal. You got
Right.
freaking...
I mean, I think it was last week where Kittle's out, and that could have hurt Curse, but he had just been gifted Kincaid. He slides him in. I think he scored a touchdown. Now he loses Rashee Rice, who was one of the top 2 receivers in fantasy football, but he can easily replace him with that depth. So every time the Curse gets hurt a little bit, the league fills him back up. Pause.
And the crazy thing is the people at the bottom who have hopes and dreams of going to the top. Like Awumi, why you're not gonna make it to the top if you keep trading good players to better teams? I don't get it.
Sinkay, you know what? I know you're the young brother, you're the young champ, so I'm gonna give you time to develop, but you're gonna see that there's a reason why he's like the dynasty of last place, bro. He's got the most last place finishes. So you can't laugh at a blind man for being blind, bro. Like, it is what it is.
Voodoo might be chasing that last place record, though.
At some point, is Joe going to chase the last place? I
think so.
Joe
chasing last place
to like reevaluate his strategy in AGS. And
I think this year was a reevaluation. I think he thought it was a reevaluation. I mean, he wasn't even really that active on draft day. I feel like this was a change of pace for him. But I just wonder,
how often does a Nigerian scammer go legit, right, and get a real job? You just keep scamming year after year after year and hope that you don't get caught. And you usually get caught.
Well, he's been caught. He's been caught. The jig is up. No pun intended.
We'll find a new scam next year.
I'll say though, to the defense of Vu and Joe, I thought that Joey paid a fair price for both those players.
Hey, and that trade just increased in value, right? Now Voodoo has the #1 receiver in Kansas City.
Yeah. And a 3rd round pick for Kincaid that's I thought it was a high price.
It is. And guess what it does? It sets every price of tight ends higher because Awumi likes 1st round picks for 5th round worth players.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not knocking the trades. The trades, I guess both were win-win, whatever. I'm just knocking who they traded with. Right. I feel like there's something in the back of your head that should always be like, I don't know if I should trade with this guy, because that's always in the back of mine. But
Sinkay, listen, we all on this podcast agree with you 100%. It's been said in video, it's been said in audio, it's been said in braille, it's been said in freaking cuneiform. Don't freaking trade with players who are going to be good. Why are you loading up championship teams? You know what I mean? And
it's tough. It's tough to avoid the curse because he's built up so many assets, right? And he's to trade things that most of the rest of us aren't because we don't have all these extra picks. So and Joey will hound you. I mean, I've heard it from his mouth, right? Like he will call you and text you every day trying to break you down. He doesn't care. If you say no, he'll call you the very next day and try again. So some people, like, that's why I started with my intro. You know, it wasn't about you, Quan. It was about Awumi and Boo. Like, Joey's not gonna break me down. I could, you know, stand on 10 toes and not give in to him. But Boo and Awumi aren't as strong in their faith.
He offered me a pretty fair trade, and I think that's maybe the tipping point. At some points, he might catch you in the right moment. Like I was definitely started going rebuilding mode, and Tony Pollard was going to mean nothing to me, and he didn't keep him, but I did give him a pick. No, he gave me a pick in George Pickens. Actually,
yes.
I just traded Tony Pollard straight up. That was I couldn't say no to that. I mean, he dropped him. You got Tony Pollard, Froggy. George Pickens actually scored some points this week, contributed. So, and he's still under contract for another year. I think, I don't know, maybe they won't be total shit, but most of the time, don't trade with Joe Bryant. It's tough, but don't do it.
I just had, before we leave Sugandiz's game, I just wanted to touch on one thing. Sugan, you took up a new hobby this year, first year refereeing high school sports. So you've stepped out of the former player, now fantasy player, now stepping back onto the gridiron as a referee. Can you talk about that a little bit? What went into the decision, how your first season is going?
Yeah, it's been fun. So far, I'm doing high school football, girls flag. Girls flag is the fastest growing sport in the U.S. right now. A bunch of good schools in L.A. So yeah, no, it's been fun. I've worked for like the Dodgers and the Kings. So I kind of wanted to get back into like the sports world, doing something with it. So repping's cool, and it's good money. Friday nights, I'm making money instead of spending it, so that's always nice.
It's dope to see you following in the footsteps of Tony Hackett, man. He had worked his way up, I think up to at least the junior college level of reffing, man, and he was on his way to going even higher, man. So it's cool to see you following his footsteps.
No shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was fun, man. I basically lived at Southwest College in LA, CC when I was growing up. So yeah, it's cool, man.
That was the coolest video ever of Tony. Is he was working security at help me out, guys. What's the league over here?
Drew League.
Drew League. When Kobe showed up to Drew League, Kobe hit that game winner. The entire crowd swarms him. You can see, is it Corey in the video?
Yeah, and I just want to say, I begged him to let me miss practice so I could go to that fucking game, and he was like, "No, you got to go to practice." Then he takes fucking Corey, and I get stuck at practice.
If you ever go back, I mean, it'll be in Kobe's documentary that's coming out soon. Any footage of Kobe at Drew League, you see Tony Hackett right there. He was like his private security guard for that game.
That's fucking sick.
R.I.P.
That is fucking sick. R.I.P. to both Tony Hackett, the legend,
and
Kobe Bryant, the legend. Yeah.
Now that's a dynasty player, Lewis. Kobe Bryant. See the difference?
Fuck you.
That's an icon, man. That is a true icon. This is a little off topic. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I was having a talk with my friend. In our lifetime, I don't think we've ever witnessed an icon of sport die young like that. An icon, like an international icon in our lifetime. It's fucking crazy. Like we couldn't think of one player. There's been athletes that have died, but somebody that was that magnetic globally, never seen it. Never want to see it again.
I've always thought that when Kobe died, it just made us all feel that much more mortal.
Dude, that's a good way to put it, man. Fuck. I don't want to talk about it right now. It's making me real sad, actually.
You mentioned BC mentioned that Kobe is a true dynasty. So Lou would be what, like an Andrew Bynum? How many chips did he win with the Lakers? One?
I think he got two. I think he got he was he there for the second one? He got two. He was there for the
who's a Laker with one ring? That's who Quan is.
Yeah, they're
D'Angelo Russell.
Shannon Brown.
D'Angelo Russell never won a ring. Trevor Ariza.
He's a Jared Dudley one.
Jared Dudley. Yeah.
What's his
Guys
name?
like that. J.R.
Samaki
Smith.
Walker.
No, what's the dude's name? It's killing me now. Ron Artest.
Ron Artest has more than one ring.
No. I don't think he does. I think it's only one, and I think it's the Celtics one with the Lakers because the Lakers brought him on the year. Yeah, they brought him on after they won the year with the Magic. I don't think he was there when they played the Magic. Quan is right. I'm sure there's other notable ones. That's a true franchise dynasty where you win. There's so many people that have been part of winning teams there. Yeah, so again, D's, congratulations on the reffing. I'd love to chat with you more about that, but we're cutting it close on time. It's almost pushing up against the hour. We've got a couple other matchups here. NJC, you took out the OG Penthouse Pimp.
Yeah. I think that, like we said last week, certain teams over the course of the season, we're going to see what they're made of. We're going to see who's real or who's not. I'm not saying the Pimps is not, but I think that after 4 weeks, we can kind of see who are the consistent players in the league. We can kind of see who are the boomer bust teams. So again, I'm thankful that I pulled the win off. I couldn't believe Breece Hall put up 0.5 points. I mean, I think that was a blessing in itself. I think that tonight, that DK Metcalf stop at the half-yard line, like it was the fantasy gods were definitely shining. So I'm grateful. Again, shout out to OG Pimps. He's always a consistent team. I never have anything bad to say about him. He's a solid cat. So again, I'm just grateful for the win. I just looked at the updated scoring matchups, and I do see some potential gapings that are coming this week, but we'll see, Mr. Scummy.
Gapings, that's crazy, man. I was gonna ask you about who you think is boomer bust, and when you said that, I got in defensive mode, and I was like, he can't be thinking about my team because other than 1 week, I've put up quite a few points week to week.
No, I wouldn't. No, the teams I would say are boomer bust are clearly at this point. I'm going to say Queef Swallower is a boomer bust team. I'm going to say that who's coming in second looks like a boomer bust team. I'm going to say that T. Ruth is on the cusp of looking like a boomer bust team.
With Derrick Henry, anything's possible.
With Derrick Henry, anything's possible. Sugandis, you're on the cusp as well, brother.
Look at that.
hey, listen, the only real win you got was against me with 134 points. Have you even scored over 105 points since then, or before or after?
My first win, I think I did like 115 against Blue. So, I mean, it's only week 4. Damn.
No, I'm not shit on you, bro. But you get these lucky wins, bro. Now you catching teams like teams. You're not beating teams. Teams seem to be beating themselves when they play you, bro. So I'm just trying to.
That's all it takes.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
So I'm not saying you're boomer bust, CK. But you might be on that bubble, bro.
I had a few notes about your game, man. Pimp started Carson Steele in his flex with negative 1.5. Also bench Baker Mayfield, who's been hot. That was 38 points on the bench. He could have subbed in Jordan Addison or Christian Kirk in for Carson Steele and pulled out the win. On your side, NJC, often talked about player on the pod. Deontay Johnson came through for you at 18.5. Your running back solid again. Lamar, not a Lemon Jackson, 27 for you. But a strange decision in your tight end slot.
I mean, the funny thing is that strange decision only lost me half a point because Hunter Henry. I figured B Strange's upside was better. If you look at, I mean, it's shit out there, right? So I looked at the two and compared them. Hunter Henry looks like he had, down week, up week, down week, decent week. Strange was a little bit more consistent in Evan Ingram's absence. So I figured Jacksonville, hopefully they were going to distribute the ball a little bit. So I was hoping for something, but I think we talked at your house, Lou, Coop. I think we said, I mean, 5 seems to be the new double digits in the tight end slot, dude. So, 2.5 points. At this point, it's like I'm happy with that, bro.
Yeah.
Well, for a man who's a connoisseur of strange, sometimes it works for you and sometimes it doesn't, huh?
Yeah, I try to do something strange for a little piece of change. You know what I mean? Didn't happen.
Yeah.
This was nice. I like that.
Yeah.
You got
Before
kind
we
of fire off back and forth there. That's pretty good.
Hey, but here's something that I do want to. I mean, I don't know where we are, how many more matchups we have, but hopefully we can stick a feather in this one. I want to. Can we have a conversation about I think people need to consider starting to trade at some point. There are some people who are, that needs to be a topic. Like, come on, guys, let's get off your fucking rosters, make some trades. Shit.
Well, actually, thank you for this segue because I consider you a team to never trade with. You're on my no trade list because
I get it.
You make moves, you find ways to win, and I just hate to be a part of your success. So
no, I don't take it personal. I appreciate the respect.
It's difficult. The trade would have to be, just one, kind of like with Joey. Like, I actually see more benefit, or at least it's a short-term benefit for his team versus a long-term benefit if his doesn't hit. So, and that's a risk I was willing to take. But I put you on that list. I don't know how you guys feel. You must have a no trade list besides Joey. There must be a couple other people who are like, nah.
I think for someone who didn't have your top 2 picks in the draft or 3?
I didn't have the first or second pick.
Someone who didn't have the top 2 picks, you managed to build depth on your team.
Well, he had a fucking great foundation. The running back foundation is where it's at. You got 2 fucking killers as running backs. Yeah, that's a good spot to start.
But Zach Moss and J.K. Dobbins as depth in case any of those guys go down. He's got Deontay Johnson in case any of his receivers go down. I mean, I don't really see you making any major trades this year.
No, man. The only thing that I would consider doing is, throwing up a pick for a tight end. It would be a pick like a mid to low. I know I have 2 fourths, so if anybody wants to give me a tight end for a 4th. But other than that, no, man. I really I've self-diagnosed myself as I got to really read up on some defenses more and start streaming better defenses and kickers, bro, because I'm missing. Like, I'll have them for a week, then they'll miss, and I'll drop this fucking Myers, and the next week I'll put up fucking 27. So I got to I need to kind of start dotting my I's and crossing my T's a little bit because, like I told Jax today on the way home from school, you got to manage your controllables, right? So if I can try to do a little bit more research and trying to figure out my weakness and try to, fortify that, hopefully I can try to sustain to the glory land. But thanks for that observation, Lou.
Yeah, man, real quick, Lou, since we got you on the hot mic right now, you went 500 this weekend. Your primary team won, your secondary team took an L. How do you feel about that?
Hey, that was a good slide in, bro. Air high five, bro. That was dope.
Well, it was fun because Quan and Queef were both at the AGS viewing party, and the chat art imitating life came to life in the backyard where Queef came in a little down about how his team was performing, and you should have saw Quan right there just building him back up. You played well today, Queef. You played really well. We're breaking down his roster. Jordan Mason came through. McCaffrey's out. What a pickup by you, Queef. It was good to see it in real life.
The Titans. That's great, man.
So, wait. Are you calling Queef radio?
That was not Remember the Titans, but
that's not the same one.
But it's still funny.
No, hey, look, man, for somebody newcomer into the league, you know what I'm saying? I like to give them their praise. I mean, his team is pretty good. So, and he's played against some high scoring teams. But you asked me about my team. So I got I got Jonathan Taylor. Looks
No,
like
I'm just kidding. I didn't really want to hear about the team we already.
Hear about your team anymore, please.
I'm talking about your second team. It was a joke.
Your second team.
Oh, okay. I thought are we at that phase where we're talking about our matchups for next week?
No, not yet. Not yet.
yet.
I just want you to speak on your second team and whether or not you're disappointed.
But
Nick, you actually
no, I'm not
missed it,
managing
Nick.
his team, but he is doing good. His team still looks like he's got a nice starting squad. He's gonna win some games.
Go ahead, Sinke.
Quan tried to throw us all off when we were at Frog's house. He was like, I didn't know, sat Devontae Adams this week. Like he wasn't out.
Oh my
trying
God.
to throw us off for a loop there.
Yeah, because that dude was in his roster Sunday morning. And because I was checking to see if Jordan Love was going to play, and I was checking rosters like, oh, is Coop going to start Jordan Love? Is he for sure? Because that really depended on whether or not I was going to start Jaden Reed. Another perfect transition into our game.
Real quick, I just want to shout out Awumi. CJ Stroud came through for him this week and helped him earn the victory. And with that win, that leaves Voodoo as the only 0-4 team in AGS.
Ooh, damn, that hurts. Ugh. Where's the E40? That's bad, dude.
Who's he playing next? Will he go?
He plays the Frogs, man.
He's got Seaver Frogs.
If I lose next week, then you will see the face of depression. If I lose, but the goal is to win, and I do it now, but I want to wait until the win is secured, and I want to do it here on the pod. BC, we're gonna start with you in the middle. You've seen Do the Right Thing, or I'm sorry, is it School Days? Spike Lee?
Mm-hmm.
What's the college?
They
movie?
both are
School Days.
School Days.
I want to start with you, Sit, and I want to pass it. On my screen, there's Nick, there's me, there's Emmett, there's Louis Sinke. And if I beat Vu, anybody who's beat Vu, I want to do it. I want to pass the pussy, pass the boosie, pass the boosie.
This is for you, Sinke. Here you go, Sinke. You grab it,
pass it all around. We all want a little taste.
Pass that loving
of that slanted punani.
Oh,
that
no.
plump booty, huh? Good old booty. Hey, I will point out one thing though, guys. I haven't heard anybody mention it. Next week is the beginning of bye weeks. So Scum, you will not feel Barkley's bark. Luckily for you.
That's very lucky for me.
That's the best part about our matchup. Not only is Vu coming in 0-4, he's losing Jahmyr Gibbs and Calvin Ridley. I think 2 starters in his lineup. So if you want to see a down Frog, if I lose to Boosie next week, I'm not going to be a happy capper on
Lucy Boosie
on the podcast. Lucy Boosie.
That's excellent. Yeah, well, with the last couple minutes here, let's run through this matchup. Rudy, yeah, man, that was it started out I think kind of nice no, you had that Thursday night game, right? Singletary ran for you. Gave you 3.5. 3.5.
Yeah, he ran out of just they didn't do nothing for him for the second half. So yeah, that was a dud.
I don't think he did anything in the first half either.
Yeah. It's battle
it was
of
a
the
whole game total failure.
Battle of the 1 and 2s. Queef Swallower and Rudy's. Golf is out.
Oh wait, that's next week. We're still on.
We're talking about this
God
week, man.
Damn.
Goff had a great game, 32.5 tonight. I don't think
Goff did have a great game.
A single incompletion. He had more receiving touchdowns than incompletions thrown. And Nico Collins, man, 31 points.
Balled out. I
Rudy,
did not
talk about your matchup.
I did not enjoy seeing Nico Collins go off like that. He had me pretty nervous in that, but you scored a good one, man.
Well, you had Jaden Reed, and then your kicker was gave you a good 20. So your Titans defense, everybody was balanced. Like afternoon, whoever you had in the morning was balanced for you. Everybody that you had in the afternoon was balanced for you. And then Jaden Daniels pretty much just put the cherry on top. But yeah, I just didn't have enough of a roster to compete. So
How about
Yeah.
Young Hoku putting up quarterback points?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, excellent.
This is becoming a reoccurring theme. Not to bring up negativity when you won your game, Scum, but how much longer do you start Mark Andrews with his second donut of the season?
Yeah, so despite that gaping black shithole in my roster, and definitely the worst second round pick I've ever made playing fantasy football ever in all the years of fantasy football. I don't know, I mean, streaming options are not great, and it's one of those things where I hesitate to just outright cut him, because the minute I do is the minute he at least does something, and then I watched, I don't know, Joey pick him up or somebody, and I'm like, fuck, he got him, he must know, and then I get nervous. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to take that one day to day and see what the waiver holds. I mean, I'm pretty much in a streaming situation with my defense, and I know it's not really a practical way to manage a team, but if I can, I got Cooper Kupp hopefully coming back healthy. I like where my receivers are. Maybe I can just continue to just amass points and just have the tight end be irrelevant. I know that sounds weird, but it's kind of what I'm looking at now, because he has been irrelevant the entire season, and I'm still 500. So I guess maybe I should get a good tight end, because that's why I'm 500. Who knows? But there are no good tight ends. So this is where we're at. What do I do? What's the move to make? Stand pat and just hope to get back healthy and just make the best decisions I can week to week. I don't know.
I like that Titans D you picked up off of waivers without blowing your waiver position. Nice pickup. I was eyeing them as well. And to Citrus' point, like looking at those matchups is important when you're selecting your defense for the week.
Huge. I'm on a 100% streaming diet now. So
all right, let's run through next week's matchups.
Yeah, next week, well, I'll kick it off. It's NJC and Rebel Scum going head-to-head. I do not fare well against NJC, but you got a couple of key players, or at least one of your best players on bye. I don't know who I have on bye yet, so I'll just ruin my night later. You're on mute, sir.
The only thing you have on bye is your defense.
And they're going to be gone anyways, so that's awesome.
So you're good. As far as people in now, what you're going to do to make your roster better, I don't know yet.
It's going to be a big matchup.
Make it better. What do you mean?
Well, speaking of big matchups, Lou, you talked about the biggest matchup. Now, was that the biggest matchup of your season or the biggest matchup of the entire AGS season? Can you clarify?
Anyhow, the big matchup of the week is me versus a curse. But man, look. I'll be honest. I'm 4-0, but it's been, like Nick was saying, I've been squeaking out some wins, so it's not like a dominant 4-0. And then I haven't played any of like I've played, I think almost all my teams I played so far are sub 500. So
not me.
You're not sub 5?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay, you're at 5 now, right? Congrats.
Well, you have Jonathan Taylor out next week projected because of ankle.
And then I got
St. Brown. You got St. Brown on bye.
And then Joe Mixon coming off of an ankle injury. So it's gonna be a tough one. So I'm not like super confident about my team moving forward. And then I'm playing like my schedule's like getting tough now. So Jonathan Taylor going out, I mean, he's really saved me a lot. Him going out is that's gonna be tough to replace those points. So,
I mean, yeah, good pickup with Rico Dowdle. I mean, to have Dowdle
fuck Rico Dowdle, by the way. Fuck that guy. I took him with like my last pick. I took a kicker before him, I think, and cut him. And look at this fucking guy. Fuck that guy. Bad name too. Hard to draft somebody with that name.
I will say he appeared to be the number one in Dallas, but the talent is just not there, dog. When he gets to, he just looks so nasty. He doesn't get to the holes right. It's just it's terrible. But I mean, he's getting the volume, so but he is. I don't know. He is. The talent's not there for sure.
Quan, how would you recommend getting to the holes right?
He wouldn't know. It's been a while.
Oh, no.
Sugandees, what do you think about your matchup with T. Ruth?
Yeah, just another gift from Vu. I gotta go up against. No, it just depends on Derrick Henry, what kind of game he has. Tell you, back-to-back 95-point games probably ain't gonna get it done. So hope score some more points.
Speaking of the Derrick Henry gift, you said something this weekend with Brad and Lennon. Thank you for hosting the viewing. It was wonderful. Anyhow, you talked about it. I know Lennon already went on the report, but one of the things you said that hit hard was how Derrick Henry has saved Jamon all these years. Like he has
every year.
Like with every bad pick or drafting with no notes and all of this, it's just Derrick Henry is always there to just pick his team up.
And that's a good point, Quan. I mean, does the Henry report validate Vu to now be a groomsman?
I should have muted.
7 years worth. I mean, that's got to earn him something, right?
I will say, knowing Jamon, it's still not enough.
there's a groomsman height requirement.
They has to work harder. I mean,
groomsman height requirement.
In reality,
it would look weird.
Yeah,
the picture would be like this.
But I mean, let me tell you,
he had Jaime in the first one, Brandon.
The competition that he has for top slurp, king slurp position is fierce. Let me tell you.
It's funny, man. Random, my Instagram algorithm's always feeding me weird stuff. But it was Rob Lowe was filming Tommy Boy with Chris Farley and I'm blanking David Spade. And there's literally, I hope I saved it because I want to share it on the thread. But Rob Lowe talked about how Chris Farley and Dave Spade slurped him on set every day, fought over him, tried to one up each other for his affection, jacuzzi nights, sauna time. I had never heard slurp personified so perfectly by Rob Lowe. Shout out Rob Lowe, a slurp E.
Shout out. And lifelong Dodger fan. Shout out Rob Lowe. Yo, does anybody want to speak on Pimps versus who's coming in second? I got Pimps in that one. Good job, Pimps. Who's coming in second? Full fire sale mode coming after this loss. After this loss, get ready because here it comes. The avalanche is coming.
Okay. So, he has Baker Mayfield. He has a lot of people on bye. He has David Montgomery. So he's going to be light at running back. But and his receivers out. So currently he's a 38-point dog to who's coming in second. But
shit.
Hurts on by too. So he's gonna start. That's what you meant by Baker Mayfield. All right.
Yeah. Because Hurts is out.
Something to ponder on. Maybe we talk about the next pod since we're up against it. But thoughts on Vu's weekly now illegal rosters?
Yeah, man, you can't do that shit. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then holds them all the way to Sunday. That's I don't really know. I mean, he's been doing that forever, though. It's at some point maybe we got to bring it up at the next draft about some consequences for loading players on your roster and then holding them and not dropping them to right before game time. It's not fair to the other owners.
Only to lose.
Yeah, we'll have to put some kind of time cap on it. I mean, as commissioner, I could step in and void the transaction. It should never get to this point, but you would think as a strong group, the Rat Pack could talk to their brother and get them to act right. But I don't know. I don't know if I have too much faith in that. So we might have to put a rule into effect.
I mean, for the rule,
like illegal rosters that force your roster to zero out all your players should be immediately rectified. Like
Oh yeah, because you can't even. So in other words, he's just behind the scenes, just playing with his roster and knowing what he's doing, and every person's you're just sitting in blank land.
Yeah.
That's that asterisk. That's that asterisk has behavior. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't give a
If
fuck.
ever. Rudy,
well, particularly when we have Thursday games, right? Like he illegal rostered all the way through. That's the beginning of the scoring week is Thursday.
Yeah.
Regardless if you have somebody playing or not, your roster should be legal by Thursday.
It's a shady strategy. It's a shady strategy, that's for sure. And it doesn't result. The results aren't paying off there, so maybe don't do it anymore. Rudy, you got Quan 2.0. Is that right? 2.0, 1.5? How would you say it? Anyways, you get the Queef Swallower.
He got a little Quan.
Lil Quan. How you feeling going up in against the former worst team in the league?
With my running back situation and the bye weeks, I probably won't have enough to try as I can try as much as I can, but
you never know, brother.
As long as I don't come, just as long as I ain't trying to start no fire sale, not just yet, but.
Wait a minute, not just yet. Well, hey man, the fantasy gods can be good. The fantasy gods can be very good.
Hey Emmett, keep an eye on your phone, okay?
Speaking of this matchup, LJ has voted, and he said his favorite team name of the year is Queef Swallower. He's a big fan of that team name. He said, "I don't know what a queef is, but that name sounds funny."
Well, I did.
Well, was Queef Swallower in the building when he asked that question? You'd be like, "That's what a queef is." Formerly the Quan. Anyways, all right, guys. I think that puts a bow on this week's recap, Week 4 AGS 2024 podcast. Sugandis, New Jack City Ambassadors of Quan, Siebert Frogs, Rudy's Replacements, your boy Rebel Scum. Y'all, thank you for joining me tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Please like and subscribe.